Okay, I love that. Alkaline water, alkaline diet, right? What is our alkaline diet or being alkaline versus vegan? Because right now everybody wants to be vegan. You
Right,
could be
right,
the
right.
most unhealthiest looking person and y'all go out to eat.
Right.
It's like I'm vegan. So what's being vegan and what's being alkaline? Because hearing you, Brother Rich, shout out to y'all, talking about Dr. Sabi actually talked about being alkaline and
Right.
not vegan. So if you can, please break
So,
that down.
so first off, I want to give a big shout out to Victor Bowman.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
No, sir.
No, okay. So
I'm
Victor
familiar.
Bowman is Dr. Sabis' son.
Oh, yes.
He's
Bowman with the last name sounds familiar. Yeah.
He's only 22.
Wow, 22 years old.
22 trailblazing.
Wow.
Drives all over the country, dropping off free herbs that people have never got access to, but you only heard Sabi talk about in some arbitrary YouTube video.
He's doing the work then.
Like, he's doing superb work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's one of the main people out there talking about the difference between being an alkaline diet versus a vegan diet. So I want to make sure I acknowledge him.
Much respect.
In regards to that, and his father, our father, and what he laid for us, veganism wasn't a term Sabi even used. I didn't come up using that term. It was vegetarian, and vegetarian was very loose. Like you could do dairy, you could eat fish. It was like that. Now they just have all these labels.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And vegan is actually designed to get people off of the food web or the source of natural energy of the earth and more on processed foods. So they like, okay, so people ain't eating processed food no more. People want to go over natural, and then they talking about the meat thing. So why don't we put the veganism and the processed thing together, and we're going to create something called plant-based? Because we think it's called plant-based because it's from a plant, and it is, but not that plant, a processing plant.
Heavy.
So it's processing plant.
So technically it came from a plant.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But veganism includes soy. It includes all types of things that I know I don't consume and I don't eat. You know what I'm saying? But when you get into alkalinity ain't vegan and it ain't an entirely plant-based because Victor's out here selling rattlesnake. And rattlesnake is one of the best cures for eczema, brothers that got libido issues. You know what I'm saying? And just snake venom itself is pretty much what what am I trying to say? The healthcare that's over here, the Western Hemisphere healthcare, what they on, they study snakes. They've been studying snakes.
Wow. That's
why. What's the logo? What is the symbol?
Snake on the pole.
Snake on the pole, either 2 or 1. And they're talking about Asclepius, they're giving honor to him, but at the same time, they're talking about the fact that they study the snakes, they study the venom, and through studying the venom in the snakes, they find out how to kill you slow.
Wow.
Or heal you immediately. And the snake offers both. So alkalinity actually deals with what's the best for your body that's going to provide the power. What is giving you the energy? Because what is alkalinity? Most people don't even know what alkaline even means.
Yeah, please break it down because everybody sees it, but we don't know.
The word potassium is actually a slang word because the true word for potassium is potassium. And it's like, potassium, what is that? It is the ash of a plant in a pot ash. So when Sabi used to say, burn a plant down all the way to when it ain't nothing but soot and there's still minerals in there. It's still electrical. So if you burn a plant all the way down, you have potash, and potash is potassium. If you look on the periodic table of elements, though, you're looking for potassium, right?
Yep.
What letter are you looking for?
It's K now.
Right.
Yeah.
But
We
the
got the chemistry class.
ain't about to look
trying to
for
find
a
a
K.
P.
They looking for a P.
Yeah.
So why is there a K? Why is there a K?
Yo, chemistry class, I always ask. Our teacher never had an answer for us. So
The K stands for kalium.
wow. We never learned that in school, by the way.
Kalium.
That's crazy.
So when you saying alkaline, you're saying alkalium.
Okay.
You're saying alkali. Because potash in minerals is what turns an acidic solution alkaline or base. So what does that mean? Acid means oxidation, like rust, because the iron atoms are losing electrons and it's oxidizing and breaking down. It's like Thanos snapped and everything's getting dusted. Right?
Wow.
Reduction is when you're gaining electrons, you're getting a check. So that's why he says alkalinity. He ain't telling people to drink bleach and ammonia and alkaline water. He's just saying we are alkaline and our blood is slightly alkaline, more alkaline. Our semen is alkaline. Our cholecystokinin is alkaline. Our secretin is alkaline, you know? So we have to keep that in mind, and not to say we ain't acidic too, because we got deoxyribonucleic acid. That's DNA. That's acid. We got hydrochloric acid. That's acid.
Wow.
We got amino acids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to have a balance. But especially in a time where Sabis stepped forward during the crack, we talk about we don't got no pandemic right now.
Yeah.
That was a pandemic.
Facts.
That crack was serious. And during that time, we were so far on the acidic side. He was like, yo, all alkaline to get that charge back up. Because that's all eating alkaline translates into get your charge back up. Raise it on up. So the difference between alkaline and vegan is very loose. That's more like PETA and saving animals and carbon footprints that really don't exist, you know, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's a trend and a fad, and it's given Bill Gates and the rest of these cats the green light to go in Silicon Valley and frankenfood all of this plant-based stuff. You know, when you get in an Impossible Burger and you get in a Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, these natural flavor hidden ingredients have HEC-293 cells, which are the cells of kidneys of aborted fetuses.
Heard that.
I'll say that one more time.
Please.
HEC-293. Right? Cinemix, which is the middle company between Pepsi and a lot of these folks, they have HEC-293 cells as a additive, which are the cells of the kidneys of the aborted fetus. So people that are eating plant-based might be cannibals and don't even know it. So yeah,
really eating meat.
I'm going to say this, and people will find this a shocker. If you're going to go ahead and get Impossible Burgers and all that fake meat stuff, just get a real meat burger.
Yeah.
Just go to the farm. Same farm you was talking about grandma's at, where them pigs was at.
Yeah.
Go there and get some ground chuck from them.
Where it's real.
And cook it at home and eat that. Because that will do you way better than messing with that plant food. That processing.
Beyond
plant
meat.
Food.
That's what they say.
Come on.
What's beyond
to
meat?
Infinity and beyond meat, man.
Humans. That's crazy.
Nah.
Wow. Okay. So growing up too, man, going to Publix or Kroger, I would always notice how the meat was on styrofoam. And I used to think that was kind of weird.
Right.
What bad effects does that have on our diets, our stomachs, intestines, on the food sitting on styrofoam, dead meat?
Styrofoam and plastic on both sides.
And plastic, that's true. That's true.
They're covering that thing on both sides. You know, anytime heat hits styrofoam, that thing draw up and those chemicals transfer onto whatever it's touching as well. You know, as I mentioned before, the transglutaminase is in there, the carbon monoxide that they pump, the antibiotics, the tumors that are in there. So you're just introducing more carcinogens into the mix. As well as these I spoke on this before, that there's these microplastics that exist in there as well that allude to the shrinkage of testicles and sperm count.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Them phytates, they
Sheesh.
That's Anaconda malt liquor from Black Dynamite. That's what I always likened it to. You remember?
Yo, that's
Anaconda
crazy.
Malt liquor. Yeah.
Wow. So all those bad effects just from the foods that we consume.
Correct.
It affects everything.
Correct. But, you know, I mean, what about the muscle memory of the cow like that got slaughtered?
It's transferred to you.
Come on, you got 25 cows in line and you telling me this cow is like number 25 looking at the one in the front and he like,
seeing his cousin getting chopped up.
What?
Yeah.
Everything's splattering. Now he number 15. Now he number 10. Now he
knows
number
he's
3.
Yeah.
Now he number 1.
All that trauma.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See, fear and trauma has chemical representations too in the form of adrenaline. Pumped from your kidney.
Sheesh.
Okay, your kidney.
Y'all can't tell me not the real deal, man.
This is the adrenal gland right here. Okay, and
Wow.
the adrenal gland sits on top of the kidney like a fez on top of a moor. You know, moors where a fez
Yes, sir.
is.
Yes,
The
sir.
kidney has a fez called the adrenal gland.
That's powerful.
And the adrenal gland secretes adrenaline, and this is the sympathetic nervous system. The adrenaline is going to cause you to get in a mode called fight or flight. Fight or flight means that you're either going to stand your ground and fight somebody,
Yep.
or you're going to turn around, you're going to run away. So all your blood is in your extremities. No, your blood is not in your organs anymore. So if you're eating and you're in fear and you're in stress, you're not going to get your nutrients because the blood is in the arms and legs. It's not here. And we're in a world where we're steadily ready to fight or we're ready to run. We're never in a comfortable. And if you do find yourself in a comfortable space, you're going to feel guilty about it.
Yep. It's not going to feel
Extremely
right.
guilty.
Yeah.
Now I brought this out too because this is the organ that governs our alkaline and acid. See, the kidneys. You ever seen the scales in my eye?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so when you see the feather
Yep.
and you see the heart,
Yep.
those are the kidneys. The kidneys are the scales. That's why they're offset in your body. They look just like scales. And they're there to balance acidity and alkalinity. And they do this by filtering your blood. It does what Moses did, or what they talk about in Galilee, where they turn water into wine.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because
sir.
when you split the blood, you have plasma and you have blood, right? The plasma goes through something called the Bowman's capsule inside your nephrons. Isn't that ironic? It's called the Bowman's capsule, and that was Sabi's
Bowman.
last name.
Hey, I was thinking about that too.
You know what I'm
just
saying?
said that. That's crazy.
So it gets filtered through the Bowman's capsule, and when it gets filtered through the Bowman's capsule, we get something called the GFR, which is the glomerular filtration rate. This is the rate at which you are filtering and balancing your acidity and alkalinity in your body.
Wow.
A healthy rate is 125 milliliters per minute. That's how fast we filter in it.
Gotcha.
You know, and between transferring salt, sodium chloride, potassium, and hydrogen ions in and out of these particular tissues determines your pH balance, your pH levels in your body.
Okay.
Yeah, because you want your blood. If your blood drops below 7, you're dead. You're out of here.
Wow.
So think about all the energy that has to be put in the blood to keep it alkaline when all you're doing is living an acidic life.
Man.
Yeah. And we got 2 of these, luckily. Wow. But you don't want to give one of these bad boys.
You want to take that
up.
gamble.
You don't want to give one of these bad boys up, man.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the kidney right there.
Man, KT, let me tell you, man, firsthand, we got to give you all your flowers because in class, science class, we aren't taught this, especially like black kids, because, you know, growing up, we always get intimidated by science. It goes over our heads.
Right.
But this information is needed. Dr. Sabi, Bowman's, you was just talking about that. That's crazy correlation. Right now, you know, during this time, we see Sabi clips everywhere. It's people that's talking about him. Everybody's trying to be on this Sabi wave right now. But he was so ahead of his time, just like how you are.
Ahead of his
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't get him until like I got older.
Isn't that crazy?
Like it was retained where I could recite what he said, and there were certain things I understood. But the eureka and aha moments that I got
like
as
truly
I got
understanding it. And then it's like, dang, I get it now.
like this man knew the whole time.
Jeez. Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
just figured out the most basic way to say things, as all elders and griots
break
do.
it down.
That's what grandparents do. They tell you a quick story, and you don't, until you're grown, you don't even know the story you was told. It just smacks you one day.
Takes years to settle in. Yeah.
That's high science. Simplification is high science, not big words. What I do, I don't think I do high science. I think I'm just telling people what it is.
You break it
Sadie
down.
was high science. Kalindi was high science. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My father was high science. Mr. Hooker, like they made sure they simplified things. My mother, high science. She hit me with this one. She said, "Why do we eat, son? To extract and assimilate the energy of the sun." So she right there taught me that eating is second to sunlight without saying it though. You know, so yeah, elders, adults, mentors, OGs, which, you know, most people say original gangsters, but you could also say old griots.
I like that more.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're here to provide things just like the youth is, and we have to kind of close that gap. And that's why things are still going over our head, because there's a gap in between who would normally teach us versus who's teaching us now.
Man, that's heavy. That's heavy. Right now, how do you feel? Like, what drives KT every single day to keep sharing all this great information, carrying on Dr. Sabi's legacy day in, day out? What drives you?
I'm excited, man. Like, I love what I do. Like, this kidney excites me. You know what I'm saying? The renal pyramid. You know what I mean? The renal vein, the renal artery, the Bowman's capsule, the nephrons, the proximal tubule, the ascending loop Henle, the distal tubule, the renal pelvis. You know, just knowing that. Just understanding what I'm seeing, and then being able to take that and give it to you, and you knowing thyself, because this ain't outside of you. Everything that I'm taking out the time to spread the message of is helping people get a better understanding of who they are inside. And if they get a better grasp on the fact that they are God, and people think that's blasphemous. And I'm like, how is that blasphemous? Because you're made in his image.
That's right.
And his image ain't no pretty Vogue cover. His image is his sacred geometry. His image is his flow, his ebb and flow, his conjugations, his laws and rules and regulations. And that's the image of God. And when you look at a kidney, it's perfection. A liver is perfection. The only thing that's not perfect is your decision making based on the way you was raised.
Heavy.
So I also brought you something hot off the press.
Yo.
The Stingless Bee Honey.
Yo, you want to know how the ancestors are working? KT, I kid you not. My next question was about Nesu Nectar. And about the power of bees, nano engineers, Honduras, you know, how they pray over the bees.
Right.
It's sacred. Yeah, that's crazy. I was just about to ask you about that.
Listen.
Break that down for us. We're on the same page.
Let me start with Honduras first. People don't understand what this is. You know, you got a lot of people that are hitting me because they feeling a way about the price. And I'm like, do you know how much 2 ounces of white truffles cost? That's $200. No, what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, $200. It's like $750 or something like that. It's crazy for 2 ounces. An ounce of saffron, premium saffron, amazing spice, $200 an ounce. How much does an ounce of marijuana cost? Cannabis cost?
Y'all know how much it costs.
And how often are you buying it? How much J's cost? I don't see nobody trolling Gucci for their scarves.
Yeezy.
But people, when they don't understand the value of a thing, you know, they get insulted, you know, and that's when I come in, because, you know, until now, there hasn't really been too much information on Stingless Bee Honey. Sabi really was the only one that kind of said what it did. And then Victor Bowman, his son, is the only person I know who actually had it and was sharing it with the people by putting it in their eyes. I call it the Bowman effect. You know, you put it in their eyes, the eyes clear up, and, you know, and they start going through this healing process after that. So that's all that was there. So I came forth with like a lot more of the information. Now, in regards to Honduras, yes, they only make this honey once a year.
Once a year.
The bees, not no people, right, in the natural habitat. And when it is done, you have a group of priestess, and most people might not care who priestesses are, but in Honduras, in the village that they're in, oh, they matter. So they see this honey as a medium between God and us on earth. It's a nectar or a food that's complete that God wants to provide, and created these bees to do so. We create tonics by picking certain herbs that complement each other, and then in doing that, we yield something called a decoction or a tonic for a certain disease we might have.
Wow.
But what if a herbalist had surgeon hands the size of a nanometer, where they could select the specific molecules out the plant, straight from the plant, and preserve it? This is what these bees are doing. I liken it to Ant-Man, how Ant-Man could shrink down,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
to the quantum world.
Yeah,
They down there in that microscopic world, and they're surgeons picking these small flowers that the hybrid bees can't fit into, can't get to, can't access, pulling the most purest properties of condensed sunlight out of these plants and turning it into this golden nectar that we call honey, and in Honduras they call miel. Miel. The honey is imbued and preyed on so that everybody who gets it gets this incantation, gets this affirmation, gets this love, this compassion, this purity, this healing energy is going to be inside that honey. What makes the honey so special? You know, when there's honey out here, well, the honey most people get is from Apis mellifera, which is a hybrid bee. It's been manipulated, genetically altered, and most of that honey is just pure sugar. This honey, on the other hand, is the only food on the planet that has a sugar, a rare sugar called trehalulose. Trehalulose breaks down 3 times slower than any other sugar. And, you know, people might say, what that matter? What matters is for a diabetic who has a blood sugar spike of 300, 400 or so all throughout the day, the minute that they eat anything, especially if some sugar comes up in the body. But if the sugar breaks down slower, then it's going to enter the bloodstream slower. And if it enters the bloodstream in small amounts, then that diseased islets of Langerhans, where the beta cells reside inside of the pancreas, won't work as hard now. It'll help it out. It'll give it a little slack, little break. You know, you won't have to do all that overtime no more. You know what I'm saying? So you got the trehalulose. Trehalulose is also a DNA protector. And in addition to that, it doesn't crystallize. Okay. And because it doesn't crystallize, that's why you're able to put it in your eye. So people who have glaucoma, people who have cataracts, people who are dealing with disease of the fovea and the macula, you know, this honey is going to work wonders for any eye problem you have.